And we're live, everyone. Welcome to today's session where we're going to be talking about using AI to create opportunities to make money, essentially. But before that, do check out channel sponsor, The News Guy. I was going to point all over that way, but yeah, because you're here, it's above Randy's head. The News Guy, the link is below. If you're looking for a PR blast and all of that good stuff, then the News Guy is the place to go. But other than that, we also have Holly here, and we are going to be discussing utilizing AI in a way to make money. So,
yeah, there we go. We're rolling. Hey, everybody. Good to have you. Like, follow, subscribe to Craig's channels, and leave your comments in the messages and all of that stuff. Ask us questions. We'll get it rolling for you. I have a question for you, Craig. I'm like, I like your background. Let me ask you, is that a real wall or is that a green? What do you got?
No, that's not a green screen. So that's a panel. So that
but that's a real wall, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that looks good.
So,
well, I like that with your YouTube plaques hanging on it. It was like perfect. I'm like, and then it was making me think, like, how would I do that? Because my thing's a green screen back
I
here.
don't know what to get here though. Like, it's kind of too
Shall
blank here.
Shall I send you a picture? Maybe a picture of Holly and I.
Fucking hell. But yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about an LED thing. Like, I don't know. I don't know. The problem I've got, Randy, with this stuff is because I've got the same over there. Like, the other side of this room is for podcasts, but I've got my YouTube plaque side by side over there. But the wall's kind of blank. But I wanted to build it, and then I can add the finer touches later on, because I'm a nightmare. But the paneling, it's like 5 panels that basically cover the wall, and the little black bits in between are actually soundproof. But they look really good. I seen it in another podcast studio actually, and I just stole the idea. So it's not actually my creativity that picked that. But Graham Greaves got them in his background. Slorry got them in his background. So don't share anything with anyone, because these motherfuckers go out and buy it for themselves. So yeah,
I like it. It looks good. It looks good. Well, I was impressed. I was thinking it was a green screen. And then I was wondering how you got the plaques up there on there to make it look like, wow, that looks really good. And I wanted to figure out how to display my silver plaque. I don't have the gold plaque award.
But yeah, get a few panels, Randy. Fuck all that green screen stuff, man.
Yeah, a few panels. But I like the brick wall thing behind me, though.
I did consider a brick wall getting built behind me at one point as well, but I like Holly's background better. Although we know it's freezing over there.
It looks like my hair's on fire.
I know. Or like a halo, like an angel halo.
I feel like it's because my hair's really bright right now, and so now it doesn't know if it should be part of the background or not, because it looks like it's on fire.
Yeah, it looks good.
If I move down like that. Oh, have mercy.
All right, so here we go. Let's talk AI, making money on AI. So I'm not going to get into the dark side of this, but on a conversation we had earlier this morning, Craig, some guys were showing how they were making, experimenting and exploring how they were creating AI avatars and doing some various kinds of social platforms and money site platforms to make money with their AI avatars. Folks, you can read into that as you would like, but some of those interesting platforms where you pay to see people. That was interesting. That was an interesting conversation.
I think that's the thing with people in our industry. You've got one sitting below us here who does weird and wonderful stuff, and just, you know, her mind takes her down all these rabbit holes, and I find it very interesting to, you know, when AI's here, how different people are going to monetize it, and obviously people are also thinking down that route as well. So, you know, there's just so many ways to make money online, and there's no right or wrong answer. It's just what you're prepared to do morally or whatever. And yeah, that's what I've always found interesting about this industry. Is, you know, people like Holly and other people who just twist things around and make money. I love it.
I'm always impressed, or surprised, I should say, that the general population, you know, people out there will spend money on some of those things. Like Holly, you were doing some stuff maybe over on one of those OnlyFans sites, right?
Yeah.
Was your stuff AI generated?
Yeah, it's all AI generated. I've been doing the foot fetishes for over a year now, and I just make you know.
So
I mean, fetish people like feet, so why not? So yeah, I just
why do you always, Holly, you always go in for something just a step lower than anyone else? The foot fetishes. Why can you not just go for a normal human being? Why has it got to be someone?
The reason why I did foot fetishes is because back a year ago when we were doing AI avatars and stuff, we could not get a naked body without having a weird boob or something. So I was like, okay, well, let's go deeper into fetishes if I want to do OnlyFans. And feet were really easy to do. So that's why we landed on this. And it's an amazing niche. So I'm happy with it. And we continue to do it. So yeah.
So I'll just be straight
we all know. We all know it.
I don't know anything about the foot fetish niche, but is it just pictures of feet, or are you doing something with the feet, pouring stuff on the feet? What?
I mean, like, the channel itself, or well, the OnlyFans, like the picture itself is just, it's pictures of feet, and some of them have like red toenail polish, purple, blue, whatever. You know, we have one for each, you know, a cover for each. And then we do get messages, and we will try to make, this is where you have to get really good with AI, is like having the feet squished like strawberries, avocados, stuff like that. And so I actually had to train. I actually did it with my own feet first because I had to train it. And so I was squishing avocados and grapes with my own feet, recording it, and then having to train it. So it's funny, right? But they pay like $100 for like a 2-minute video. So, I mean, I'll squish people's grapes, whatever.
That is crazy. Doesn't that? I don't know. That just
I don't question. I mean, we definitely get some weird stuff, and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't need to have pictures of your thingy doos. I don't really care about that, but we do get some weird responses and requests. But you know, like, I mean, it's just a side gig. So I mean, like, I'm not super invested in it.
Foot gig, yeah. What do you think, like, the top foot fetish channel or account on OnlyFans? What do you think that they make?
Oh, I'm sure millions in a year. I'm sure.
I mean, like on a month. What do you think a month? I have seen some stuff where some of these.
I think it's probably over 6 figures.
Well, I've seen stuff definitely, like in some of those, the girls that are on OnlyFans that are making multi-million a month on that channel.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, those type of people are also like, they're putting everything out there. And so, I mean, are you going to put everything out there? I mean, it just depends on it, you know. I don't know. That's not for me.
I don't know. Well, that's interesting. So your stuff is all AI generated, so you can do. All right. Yeah, well, Craig, you were sharing, in that conversation, some of the AI generating platforms to do some of this stuff. And now that is a side down a path of AI that I've not looked at really. But I was surprised that there were so many like sites developed that you can just go and start creating these avatars as such.
This is the problem. Like, for example, ChatGPT and various other platforms, they don't even let you use swear words and things like that. So they had to develop platforms for that type of stuff. And if you think back, where is all the money made? It's always pills, porn, or gambling. So there's always, these guys are always ahead of the curve, man. Like, these things were fucking developed first before anything else. So, I get it from your point of view, but you can't use like someone else was saying, like Grok, is unfiltered. There's no filter on it. You can fucking get it to say what you want and stuff like that. But yeah, trying to get AI to do certain things using a standard platform is something that is impossible. So there's Ryan saying use Grok 3, it's unhinged. So it's one of those things where sometimes you can't even get a funny picture made using a standard AI thing without it being seen as insulting to people or whatever. So that's why those platforms exist. And they're fun.
I have not played around with Grok all that much. Have you gone there? Have you done it?
Yeah.
You play around with Grok?
Yeah. Always. I think everyone.
I was having problems with Claude. Like my sites that the directory site I sent you, if you look at it, it's in our group chat. I just sent it like 20 minutes ago. I was having problems with Claude. It was not finishing the whole code, or because the code, it was getting so long. And then when you click on continue, it was like in the middle. So then I took it over to Grok and it fixed it in 2 minutes from me. So
I have a question. Which Grok is it? Like I just Googled Grok and I got grok.com and then also a x.ai/Grok.
I just use grok.com. I don't know if that's the right one, but that's the one I use.
Because I have not used Grok at all ever. So like interesting. All right. Oh, I see. Even at the grok.com, it takes you over to. Oh, I see what it's doing. Okay. It's got to sign in, got to do all of that. Got it. Okay. Interesting. All right. So Holly, give us an update on Unique Grok 3, Randy. Yeah. Gemini. So here's Ryan. Ryan is like the AI king, man. The guy's he's like tapped in.
He's been geeking out on that stuff for
the
last year. And he gets excited when something new comes out or small. So I think AI is 100% his thing.
Yeah. Gemini 0.225. Huh. Interesting. So Holly, I'm very curious. So a few weeks back, we were, you're a slave to the robot, guys. You were starting a couple of different projects. One was based off of kind of a concept that I'd shared coming out of a group where, just a real old school I think, kind of good guerrilla tactic around sending out the candy box and, doing a lead as a way of a lead gen to try to connect and, build out some local clients. So you tried it. You sent out some boxes. How did it go?
Yeah, we sent out. So what we did, we scraped Google. So I just did Wisconsin. We scraped Google for the niche plus the city. We got like 3,000 results after all the duplicates.
There is no way.
And then we had.
Hold on. I don't want to reveal your niche unless you want to, but I can't believe there's that many in that niche in Wisconsin.
And it's crazy. Yeah. 3,000 in Wisconsin.
Craig, do you know what the niche is that she was doing?
No,
he does not.
I don't think she would tell us.
I put it in the private chat.
Dude, I remember now. You did mention it, Holly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There was 3,000 of them. It's crazy.
I would not have believed that. All right. So you did it. You scraped. You found.
Yeah.
All right. What happened? What did you do?
So we had to go from 3,000 down to, there were 3,000, but there weren't 3,000 showing addresses because we have to mail them. So we had to take everyone out who did not have an address, basically a sob, right? And we ended up with, I think, around 600 total that we could mail out to. So I filtered to be like locally around here. So we ended up sending 10 boxes. 8 of them were, so I shipped through UPS. 8 of them delivered the next day. I did 1 in Ohio and 1 in Arkansas just to have a little, feeling of different areas, how much is shipped and cost, and etc. I am not a person for following up on the phone, especially on the phone. So I waited 24 hours and then I texted everyone who I sent it to and was like, hey, did you get your package? And a couple people messaged me back and said, yeah, it's a brilliant marketing scheme. At the moment, we're not ready though, because we have just started up in February. And I was like, okay, not a big deal. I waited for another week and a half. And then I had someone locally, a guy we know who's really good on the phone, has no sales experience, but I wasn't looking for sales experience. Just to call the remaining companies and be like, I just want to know a few things. I want to know if what we hot glued and put together, because you've seen it, Randy, with the, I don't want to say what it is. I wanted to know if it arrived safely and was it broke, because I spent like 2 hours putting together each one of them. And if they, just get a feeling of, or my price is too high. Did they
because
like
you
it?
You did an offer, and I don't know if you can kind of reveal what the offer is without going on the niche side, but it was a low dollar offer.
It was a low dollar offer. It was $137 a month with a $200 setup. And because of this very, very specific niche is fairly new, and I didn't think there was that many people in it. There's no one who's in marketing in it. So we literally could just do business citations. We could put them on the podcast. We could do some GMB optimization, like very low end type of a thing. Like doing one drive would pop them to number 1, right? So I wanted to know if the price was on point and stuff like that. So he talked to 5 people. 2 of the people are going to sign up in the next month. They're not signing up the month of April. It'll be the next month. 2 of the people said they didn't get it, and it was sent to a residential house that wasn't even their business. So it was just someone who faked an address. And the one guy said he was a franchise owner and they had to have permission to do certain marketing. So I think in this, like, I know, like, Randy, you said the guy who did it the first time is he picked a bunch of different niches, I think, and dropped off 10 boxes. I think because I went so very, very deep in the niche, we will say that. I think it's going to be a little bit of a harder sale just because they're new companies. The client, you know, like for me to get the services is going to, they only pay $100 a month. So I don't know. I'm sending, actually have another 40, 50 boxes ready to go out this week. So I'm sending 50 boxes out. I'm going to hit the bigger cities like Milwaukee, across, you know, I'm going to hit the bigger cities. I did more suburbs on this run, but you know, everyone who he talked to said it was brilliant. It didn't break. They loved it. They loved the idea. They just weren't ready to actually do it. So I think I'm going to finish these ones because I already have 50 already glued together. So they're going out. And then after that, I think I might go a little bit more broad and maybe hit things like salons, like a low, like I'm not going to hit a plumber. I'm not going to hit, you know what I mean? Because the SEOs you're going to cost, it's going to be too much. So we want a low end service, I guess we could say. So that part of the project, though I did want at least 1 or 2 signups, at least I got some like input on it, which is totally what the purpose was. So,
well, I think that it's good.
And
I think that it was good. I love the idea, and I love the idea, and especially because, you know, Craig, I'm sure you get this a lot too. You know, people want to know, how do I start getting clients? How do I start making money, you know, in SEO and start doing these kinds of things? And this just was, you know, Holly, like Holly is, like, does a much bigger, grander, you know, kind of thing. But I think, you know, if you were in a small, like Holly, the little town where you live in there in Wisconsin, I mean, you could just focus on a handful of businesses, you know, like a dozen or 20 businesses across all niches, right? And then just kind of lay out that same strategy. I bet you would walk away with a number of clients.
Yeah, that is something we talked about. So the same guy who did the calling, he's going to come down probably at the end of the week and take boxes and just go drop them off at some businesses around town. I do like mailing it though, because when someone comes out their house, you know, it's a pretty color. It's a popping color where they're like, ooh, this is cool. And I kind of like that because at the end of the day, when you have a work day and there's a package you're not expecting, it's a little bit excitement versus getting it. So, yeah, so that's the plan. I went one step a little further with it, is that I actually got into a school group with 600 of these businesses and franchise. Really? And again, no one is marketing, right? They have like a conference in May. Can you believe this? You guys know what this niche is. They have a conference to teach you.
I can't believe there's a franchise out there. I mean, that's kind of funny, but
yeah. So I asked if I could be a sponsor. It's a little bit late though. It's, you know, because it's next month and we're doing spring training. So they don't have any sponsors, because in fact they were like, yeah, we've never had a sponsor because there's no marketing and we've never, you know what I mean? So trying to get my, you know, answering questions about things that people are posting in school. And then I'm contacting the companies also on LinkedIn. So I'm hitting them through mail. I'm hitting them on school. I'm hitting them on LinkedIn. I'm just doing connections. I haven't sent messages yet. Oh, I did actually. I did another part of it. I sent 100 messages out to have them be on my podcast. And I have gotten a really good response on that. So that is what I'm following up on this week.
Love it. Well, I think it's a great strategy. And This guy, I know this Ryan guy, is now doing stuff where he's really trying to automate as much as he can with it. So if somebody does respond to
Yeah.
like an email that he sent out, like, so now instead of calling, he's doing an email follow up. And if they respond at all, then he has a whole funnel, right? And then he sends like a video in his next email to them, or maybe he does a video in the first one that he's doing as a follow up or something like that. But he's doing what he's found is if he's doing little videos in the email follow-ups that it gets better.
Right. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to work on, because what I actually sent them makes my sound like I'm a newbie, because I was like, we're just starting this podcast, which maybe the wording wasn't, I asked ChatGPT and the wording to me was good. But then when I read it back to Jonesy and to Rayburn, they were like, it makes it sound like you're a brand new person doing this, so people aren't going to respond back to you. So Jonesy showed me part of his setup on what he's doing. So I set up the same type of thing, and I got the responses. I didn't set up like a response back to them yet, just because, I want to see. I want to make sure I have the first part of the offer right first. Plus, I was working on the site still. So, did you see the updated site
of the other thing, of the other project? Yes, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
I did. Like, Claude made that. It looks really good. I think it looks good. I bought a website for it, so I'm going to ask Claude and Grok to give me a WordPress template for it.
I'm just having a look as well.
Yeah. So Claude did that on a Google site, or did you go on a Google site and put the code on it? What? Yeah.
I just told Claude I was building this directory. I literally just said it's a podcast of directories for businesses, and it's for Google Sites, and they created the whole thing. Like, every page was created by them.
That is crazy.
But no, it looks good.
And then I asked on Facebook, 20 people that want to just have it for, a directory link and a podcast. So I have to do yours, Randy's. Yours is, I think, I did 4 yesterday, and then I have to add, I think, 6 more.
So now is your intent then? So tell me how you will monetize this. And I don't know, you're probably not ready to share this publicly yet, but how are you planning to kind of monetize this, and maybe talk about in general? So this is, well, you mentioned directory. So this is a directory that you're putting out there. How are you thinking about monetizing it and then automating it so you don't have to have fingers in it every day?
Yeah. I don't know yet. I don't ever like try to think about the monetization. Not really. I see it if it works, and then if it works, then I sort of go with the flow. So, that you have the podcast and then you have the directory. So if you click on like one of the businesses, if you click, you see on the homepage, it says view profile, listen, and location. That location is linked to their Google Maps.
Right.
The listen is linked to Buzz MP3, and then view profile. If you click on view profile, it comes up, and then where it says like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, we could link out, and we could link out to the website. So I think that might be the position where, we want to do $50 a year to have your business on here. So do I know where that's going to be at? No, I don't, until I actually talk to people.
That's nice. And so when you're doing these, you're sending this out to Buzzsprout as your main, and then distributing out from Buzzsprout?
Yeah. And so I'm also trying, like, we have the network, so we're actually building a podcast episode for every single post on our network, and that is totally automated. I don't have to touch any of that. Like the episode, like you go post, that post gets pulled in. It's created with 11 Labs, and then it goes to I think it's Costa.
I was just going to ask you.
No, is that how you say it?
Well, that's what I was wondering if you were using. So with the Castas, how did Castas cast? What the hell the name of it is?
I think it's Castos, something like that.
Castos, I think. Yes or no? The pot, yes.
Yeah. So that we're using that on the WordPress side. But we're not I'm not going to say we're not actually hosting on there. We're using
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the reason why I like the Castos is because you can host unlimited channels on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or podcast.
Right now at Buzz it's $12.
So you can have, like with your one account, you could have 20 different podcasts going on. Versus Buzzsprout, I think you have a limit on Buzzsprout to a certain.
Yeah, it's $12 a month, and you are allowed 2.5 hours of uploading in a month, I think, or 2 hours. So with the network, we're gonna blow through that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to both ways because I've been doing the podcasting platform for years. I mean, we have an adult podcast that I've had that adult podcast for 10 years. So I mean, we know that podcasts are working. I'm just trying to figure out. We want free people on the directory, but we also want paid people on. So, the benefit, I think, for one of the paid is that we're going to also put the same content in an Amazon book and send it out to audio platforms. So maybe that, I don't know.
Well, look at that, the Castos, because you can have unlimited podcast and unlimited episodes. So whether you're doing, bringing over 1 million backlog episodes, or whether you do a 4-hour long, do it daily, whatever, but it's unlimited. So, there's no Buzzsprout, you've got that 2 hour or 2.5 hour kind of monthly allocation, but on Castos, you're like, no, man, let it fly. It's not. It's a little more.
It's not unlimited.
What's that?
Though. I don't think it's unlimited time.
No, if you kind of read through how they describe it, they're publish daily, create 4-hour long episodes, or migrate hundreds of episodes from your backlog. You'll never hit an upload limit.
Okay, because we're hosting off of someplace else, and it's costing 10 cents a podcast, or 10 cents an episode, maybe. I'll have to look at the price difference.
Now, they do say is that the only limitation is that which I would never hit on any of the stuff that we do either with it, but it's 250 megabytes per file for a file size.
Yeah. We don't
so I mean, that would have to be a pretty monstrous podcast to do it in one file. Right?
Yeah, so that's my whole complete update of what I've been working on for 2 weeks and pulling my hair out because I don't usually build websites, so it's very. I'm like, meta take. What the frick is a meta take? Just go build the damn site. I don't care what it looks like.
I think that's interesting. So, you'll do this. So the directory piece. So to monetize, I think there's all kinds of ways to monetize, but I think you can monetize it as a lead gen. I think we talked about this 1 or 2 weeks ago about using directories as lead gen opportunities for acquiring clients for SEO as well. There's a few guys that are out there doing that stuff that I know that seem to have some pretty good success with that.
Yeah, I was thinking something like, if you are placed on the podcast, we'll give you like a PR shout out and then just order the PR through you, because companies like PR crap. So, there's ways to go about it. I just don't know. I don't know the best way I want to go about it yet. I wanted to get people to first look at it and be like, why is it not linking out? Well, because you didn't pay.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I learned better by showing it to someone and then listening to what they think of it, and then I can spin it to whatever I want.
Right. Yeah, and the value of
yeah, they were like, he's like, I think it would do better if it was not on Google site. And so I was like, oh my God, now I have to figure out how to code it for HTML or for WordPress on. Yeah, so I'm just going to have Grok do it. Claude and Grok are going to build the site. I'm not building it.
People think that it would do better if it was on a WordPress site versus a Google site.
There would be more willing to pay for a directory spot if it was on WordPress. I'm like, WordPress brand new website's going to have near zero power, right? On Google Sites, it's going to get indexed right away. And the power is not coming from the power is coming from getting it on Apple and Amazon and iHeart and Spotify. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, they definitely were like, oh, it's a Google site. And I was like, yeah, okay. So that's the first thing I have to work on. But that's an SEO agency who's telling me that. As a real business owners, will they care or even know?
Well, that's what I didn't want to say that exactly, but if you were a business owner, you might not really care what type of platform it was on.
You wouldn't even fucking know. Like,
yeah, well, I know.
Right.
They would just see it.
That's what I would think too. But a lot of my business comes from agencies, so I have to make both people happy, right? I mean, and technically you could put that same directory page on hundreds of blogs. It's just the directory page is embed code. So
yeah, keep whoever happy. Whoever's paying the bills happy. That's always the right way.
Right. That's why I'm going to build them both. And, I'd be like, look, you have it on a website, you have it on Google Sites, plus it's on, like, your website is on every single podcasting platform. It's a do follow link, not on all of them, but it's a do follow link. And then we're driving links to the actual podcast episode. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the podcast piece. I think I'd like that. I think it's good.
Yeah. So what are you working on, Randy, for AI and money?
Well, I keep experimenting. I mentioned before, like with lead gen sites. So that's kind of my little playground that I'm playing around with and doing different things with. So, so I have a number of different lead gen sites, and I do it the simpler way, I should say, of the business model, that I just sell the leads directly out to one of these aggregators, and then I don't, and they go and sell the lead to whoever. I don't want to like have a local business that I'm selling the lead to directly, just because I didn't want to be bothered with reaching out. I just didn't want to do that. So, and I know you can get more money if you sell it directly. So I fully understand that. But I just wanted to have the lead gen sites where, and if I'm like in the particular niche that I'm operating in and doing this in, I'm averaging like $50 to $75 a lead. Maybe even a little bit more, like $85, I think, depending upon what happens, right? So, and I think I could, if I went directly to a provider of these services, I know I could probably, do another 50% of revenue per lead by doing that. But again, I didn't want to be bothered by that. I was much more interested in the process to be able to do different things, and then we'll drive some results. And so, with with these sites, then I've been playing around with doing automated content on them using some different AI tools to do some auto generating blog content, really driving geo relevance and contextual content around geographic areas. And then as well, taking that content, doing some different actually practices around doing podcasts. So where I take one of these sites, we generate kind of similar to what you're doing, generating a podcast for that site. I've originally, the first pass I was doing this, I was setting these up on SoundCloud, and then distributing out from SoundCloud from there. But then I realized like, SoundCloud only allows me to do one channel or one podcast per account. So I'd set up a bunch of separate accounts. Well, I had one of my folks on the team do it, and then I was like, well, that's kind of a pain in the ass. And then came across a cast host and we're like, well, that's a much better avenue if I paid $19 a month, but I could have kind of unlimited. And the podcasts that we're doing, the episodes are like, 2 to 4 minutes long. I mean, they're very small. We're just.
Are you getting viewers on, or sorry, no, not really viewers, but are people, do you know what your download rate is or anything?
You know what? I haven't even paid attention because I've just been like pumping them out. But let me go take a look at one of these.
Are you driving any backlinks to them, or are you just creating them?
Yeah. Just some backlinks to get the stuff. Get them to get them indexed. So let me look at one of these. So let's go see. You gotta love you just gotta love like you're getting these links from these things. It's great. So let me see. I don't know. SoundCloud. Where the hell do I find my report or whatever on SoundCloud?
Can't help you there. I've never done it through SoundCloud.
Huh. All right. Well,
because I've been on both.
I know, right? All right, let me look at this one.
We have a legal one that we've been doing, and it's getting like 50 legitimate downloads an episode. And
yeah, it kind of only looks like it's just getting like a couple, right? 2, 3. I think one's got 7 for some reason. Yeah, so not a ton by any means. And that's okay. I was doing it more out of the brand building, brand awareness, and the links coming from it. And then we also do another. So I've got a couple of sites doing it where we're kind of auto generating a podcast based around keywords that we're pushing, and then I'm also doing similar to what you had described, where taking the content off of the site. So we're generating auto content off with AI content onto the site, and then taking that blog post and then creating a podcast off of it with that blog post. All again for the purpose of the links and then expanding the brand. So ideally, what I'm driving at is, say it's Randy's Plumbing in Cleveland, is that when, if I go and like plumbing in Cleveland, I want, ultimately I want the site to show up, but right now I want the podcast to show up underneath, the keyword.
And my podcast links are showing up for the brand.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah, that's happening with one of my podcasts, one of my lead gen podcasts, where the brand now that's being associated with the keyword, because I have the brand and then the keyword of the service in the title and in the URL. And so that is happening now. So if you go and you like look for, plumbing in Cleveland as an example, that the podcast shows up for that service and location. And so ultimately that's what I was trying to get to. And then, like they'd click on the brand. Now, I would say from a money standpoint, since we've been doing this over the last few months, and some of it is because of seasonality too. So I can't necessarily say like, yes, this is the only reason. But number of leads and revenue has improved over time. So I think it's working.
So there's something called the Business Spotlight series. So if you actually look up, mine is the Business Spotlight show. That means I have to fight over him, which that always makes me happy.
Yeah. So Craig, I don't, you're looking at me like, I don't know what the hell you're doing, but for me, I'm just like trying to like create like a little money wheel, right? Where if I just create the system, then I don't want to worry about it ever again. But yet if this thing will like, if one of these sites can generate like $200 to $500 a month, and then I can just replicate it and build them over and over and over across multiple cities or whatever, I'm like, hey, that's kind of fun, right? So yeah,
absolutely. I think if you can build yourself something like that using full automation or whatever, why not?
Yeah.
That it doesn't really matter what it is. The whole thing is, if it's automated, then who cares? And if it's making you money whilst doing nothing, then that's got to be a good thing. So, no, I get it. I absolutely get it. I'd be doing the same thing if I had time. Just time. I'm time.
I know that's a thing. So I get bogged down by kind of doing some of the testing stuff, and where, and then once I'm like, okay, this is work, and then I'll hand it off to one of the folks on the team to go do it and go set up the accounts or whatever. But I'm kind of playing around with the like, well, what if we did this and tweak this and what, but
it's automated, so you shouldn't have to go back and look at it.
Well, I know that's why you're asking me like to download. I'm like, I don't know. I don't go look at the once I set it up. I don't. The only thing I look at is that I go on my aggregator where I'm selling the leads. I go look at that like once a week just to go see like, okay, how many leads and what did we get paid? So I like to look at the bank account. I don't. Yeah, once the thing is running, I'm like, I don't care how many looksies it's getting.
I mean, I will spot check after like a week or two and see if it's ranking for the businesses, like they're on the directory. Look at see if it's there for the businesses. For a couple of the positions, like So yeah, I mean, but we just got it approved, so I mean, nothing on my side is ranking, but
Yeah. I do think it's fun, and I do think that there's opportunities, definitely. And it's like what you were saying, Craig, earlier, which is, if folks are thinking a little out of the box and thinking about, well, what are the things that could be and or timely even, and how can you create some AI automations around that to create the content, the images, the videos, whatever it is, and then put out there, and then what can you do within that, right? Can you do a sponsorship? Can you sell stuff through it? Whatever. Pull traffic, go get SEO clients, do it for lead gen stuff. It's just, there's so many opportunities right now. And especially with AI, it just seems like it's, a whole new frontier out there.
Yeah. Just got to embrace it, man.
I know it. I know.
Try shit out and embrace it.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I think it's exciting times.
There was something, somebody threw out some comment about that Bill Gates, somebody threw out to me last week that Bill Gates says that, and it was a number, that it was going to eliminate 65 million jobs in the next, I don't remember what that time frame was. Was it like in the next 5 years or? Oh yeah, that AI will replace doctors and teachers in the next 10 years.
Bloody hell.
So this was from a People magazine interview that was just released a couple of days ago, the 29th. Isn't that crazy? That's what he thinks. Now, who the hell knows, right? I'm not a big fan of Bill Gates, but I do. I'm impressed with what he's done, but I don't.
I don't know. I mean, it hallucinates so much.
Well, it'll only get better. I mean, and so it's going to get better.
But it's trained off what we are posting about. So I mean, you can train it to be total nonsense.
Yeah. I do think, back to what we were kind of talking about anyway, in regards with AI and embracing it and stuff, I do think there will be a disruption with jobs. And this is why I think it's kind of important to all right, go look at how you can get yourself integrated, get comfortable, figure this stuff out so you can go and take advantage of and go create a business for yourself. Give yourself a little protection, right? So in case your job is one of these at-risk kinds of things. It is a little scary thinking though. But I don't know. The other thing, this is a very off topic, but man, I use Perplexity almost probably 90% for my search function. Like if I need to find out some information, like what I just did there, I went on to Perplexity and hey, what's this Bill Gates comments about AI taking over jobs? Man, Perplexity is great. I love Perplexity.
But the average person is still going to Google or using their phone, going TikTok, going Instagram.
Yeah. What is this? The real question: if they eliminate jobs from humans, how are these people going to make money? Yeah, exactly right. I don't, right. So if all of a sudden you got a ton of people not working, how are they going to feed themselves? How are they going to keep the lights on? Right? Yes.
Yeah, that is the big $1 million question. I think when COVID hit, they came out with news feeds on how grocery machines could count 500 products in such and such a time, that's fine. But again, where are you going to make money, if that makes sense? Yeah, no, we need to be careful that people still have the ability to earn money and stuff like that, because not everyone's computer literate and stuff either.
Yeah, but generally what happens when technology advances, jobs are eliminated. Industries will be eliminated. But generally, at least historically, this has always happened, is that there's going to be some aspects that are eliminated, but then new jobs that hadn't even been thought of or created and or products are available and or made because of the new technology. As an example, like kind of what we were just talking about a little bit earlier, where you had said, Craig, wow, the money's in the pills, porn, and what'd you say, gambling, right?
Yeah.
And so as soon as the AI came out, well, the people are like, okay, great, I'm going to start building out sites that can generate kind of AI uses for creating porn or whatever. Like that was never out, but that new technology allowed a new company to form and create this stuff. So, and new jobs were created. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. But I do think embrace AI, people. You got to do it. Got to do it. Play around with it.
Like this link, there's a link in the chat.
Dude, I think, that's funny that you put Simple Life, you put that up. I will go look at whatever this link is in here. But my local grocery store, I walked into it with my wife. We were out kicking around on Saturday, and they have a big sign, big banner in there. Hey, they have a name for it even. If you see, Robot Randy running around, this is what it's doing. It's going around looking at the shelves, looking if there's low inventory and just creating information. And so it was like pulling data instead of sending somebody, a body going around and looking at like, are we low on macaroni and cheese? This thing is going and scanning as it's traveling down, scanning the aisles, looking if there's anything empty or low in inventory, and then sending this data somewhere. I'm like, wow. I'd never had seen that before. And I'm curious what this link is here, if that's kind of speaking to that as well. But
I could go one better. I was in an Amazon store in London a few years back. And you go in and you can just pick whatever shit you want off of the shelf. And it will tell, it can tell straight away as soon as you lift it from the shelf, it obviously calculates that to your shit. So you can just put the stuff in your pockets and stuff, and then when you're leaving, it will basically bill because when you go in, you need to scan your Amazon account, and when you're leaving, it will bill you for everything. So I said to the person, if I go in here and I can just sneak shit off that shelf and put it in my pocket, you're not concerned that I'm going to get away with something. They're like, nah, go do what you like. And I was in there, and I done it on TikTok. I was just stuffing stuff in my pocket, man. It was very, very accurate. So
they have that in airports too now. If you go to the airport and they have like, you walk through this bar thing and you walk through and you have to have like an Apple Wallet or something that's electronic. And you just walk through, and as soon as you pick up the water, it knows, like it charges you. Yeah.
By the way, I just went and looked on that link, that Reddit link, and that thing, that the example that they shared is exactly what this thing is floating around in our local grocery store. Like, wow, that is amazing, I think.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad. I was somewhere else. Where was I? I think I was in Dubai, and I was in this doctor's, and there was a robot fucking running around handing out water, and there was another one that was cleaning the floor, and I'm not joking. Not joking when I say that. So yeah, it was mad. But
yep, interesting times we live in.
Yeah,
interesting times. All right, people.
Yes, that is us. But
That is us.
do check out the news guy. The link is below.
Yep.
And we will be back at the same time next week, everyone.
Yeah. Oh, hey, can I give a little plug for tomorrow on my show, Hot Off the Press? I got Clint Butler is going to be on, from good old SEO guy. Come on, say hi, learn what kind of stuff. Clint is serious SEO and tester.
He is good guy, very knowledgeable. So
Yeah. Yep. Should be good.
yeah, I don't have any cool stories like Pete to tell, Clint, but
Oh, man, that's so good. Oh, God, I laughed about that. You even mentioned that, and I just laugh. I can just see Pete like, yeah.
Anyway, guys, we will see you all the same time next week.
All righty, yo.
See you later.
Thanks for showing up, people.